Hey guys, Kay here, and this is Lost Between Analog and Digital, an unscripted podcast by an angsty millennial. This is probably going to be a short one today, I'm not quite sure, but I wanted to talk about one of the worst injuries I've ever had growing up. I've somehow managed to completely forget about it until just the other day. Just talking with some different people about my podcast and trying to get some feedback. So, someone I was talking with, she was asking me questions about the episode I did on backyard wrestling with my friends. And she was asking if I ever got any serious injuries, broke a bone, or anything. And I was like, no. I managed to be lucky, like nothing serious. And she was asking if I ever had a concussion, and I was like, I don't think I ever had. And I was like, no, wait, there was one time that, and then all of a sudden it kind of came flooding back that there was another time that I got really messed up, and I have no recollection of it. And like it legitimately kind of scares me. It's nothing too gory, nothing whatever. I'll try to keep that relatively whatever. I don't know what your tolerance for that is, but yeah. This just popped into my head like when I was talking with her. So I told her the story and that, but yeah, I when I was in grade 7 or 8, I'm thinking it might have been 7. So I would have been like 12, 13 ish. Um, the junior high where I'm at is next to the brook that runs through our town. Um, so I live on the opposite side of town, or opposite side of the brook from the junior high. So it's about a 15-20 minute walk if you cut through the brook, and go over. There's 2 footbridges, or you can go through like 2 main thoroughfare bridges. Well, one's technically like a tunnel, or they built a tunnel in, and you just, yeah, not important. So in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a big like rejuvenation project for it where they made a nice walking trail. They put in 2 footbridges, couple access ramps at the first half and the start and the midpoint of the brook, and then towards the back half where the second footbridge is, there's 2 sets of wooden stairs they built. So one on each side. So the side near our school burned down at some point when I was a kid. Um, we would cut down the hill where the stairs used to be by kind of just running down the hill. Now the stairs that were there were probably about 4.5, 5 meters tall. Like it's a fairly steep hill. Um, so I'm not sure what that would be in feet. Um, it might be 4.5 meters. So I'm 1.88 meters. That's about 6'2". So yeah, you can do the math. Um, so it's pretty steep. The street just comes to an abrupt end where there's a concrete barricade and like a street sign so cars don't drive off. But it's almost a sheer drop. Like it's maybe 45 degrees or so because it was all cut out for the set of stairs that was there. But we'd run down. There was a zigzag pattern that was kind of etched in that you'd step down, and you kind of like, your momentum would keep you on path, whatever. So I remember my turn to go down. So I'm like one of the first. I think a couple of my friends went down ahead of me, and I'm coming down like next. And this is when school gets out relatively quick, like relatively quickly. School getting out or whatever. So I hop down, and it's like it's a drop. It's probably about maybe about a foot and a half drop from the pavement to the part that you kind of run down. So when I drop down, my foot gives away, and that's about the last thing I remember is this big like chunk of earth giving away under my foot. The next thing I remember, I'm face down on the concrete footbridge, and everything is like black, but I can see like the outlines of stuff in like light. Like I don't know how to describe it. It was like that everything was like black hazy, but I could see where like everything was highlighted by light. And I don't know if I rolled onto the bridge, which so that would have been down the hill plus probably maybe 3-4 meter from the foot of the hill to the start of the bridge. So yeah, I can remember being at the top of the hill, and I can remember being at the bottom of the hill, face down, like looking at the metal grate on the or the metal railing on the footbridge. I have no idea how I got home. I only really remember how like messed up I was. Like I was like royally fucked up for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Like covered head to toe in like small lacerations and cuts and like road rash kind of stuff. Bruises everywhere. My back was okay, but everywhere else was just covered in bruises and scrapes and cuts and everything. And like this hill was pretty sheer, but it had this like path kind of in it, and I think the path might have been around like the concrete supports or whatever for the 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 stairs. I don't know. It's been forever since I've seen it. Like I haven't been down around that brook in probably about 5-10 years now. I have no idea how I got home, and like I've been injured a lot. Whatever. I generally remember them, even if I don't remember like the context or whatever I was doing. Like I remember like if I jumped off something and hit the ground or whatever. Like that usually sticks with me that I have some recollection. Or a lot of times like having to lie to my mom or grandmother or whatever about what happened. So I'm not sure how I got home. If my friends dragged me, like, walked me to my house or whatever, or if we just got to the point where we separated and they're like, yeah, you're good to go on your own. So I asked my mom about this, and she has a horrible memory. Like I always freak her out when we're talking about something, and I'm like, I remember what we're doing when this happened, and it was here with this person, and we were eating this kind of thing. And literally what she said to me is she's like, I don't remember anything, but she's like, I remember that. She's like, I came home from work and you were like a mess. Your clothes were like ripped and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I think I probably had a concussion or something. Like, I really don't remember anything. And she's like, well, I asked you if you hit your head and you just kept saying your leg hurts. And she's like, anytime I asked you about anything, she's like, all you would say is your leg hurts. And I'm like, yeah, I probably had a concussion. Like, it's not a good response. I don't remember if I went to school the next day, if I was out of school for like a week. My mom didn't really remember, and she was like, "If if you're or saying that you're saying that you're okay or whatever, like I probably would have sent you then." But yeah, like it legitimately scares me that I have no recollection of this, and I remember so much of the stupid shit I've done. Even like not, I might not remember every detail or whatever, or but like I don't have these big traumatic things that just they might be actively repressed or whatever, but like this is just like just a whole. The other thing too is like that the hill too was like it was gravel, it was rock, it was sand, it was broken glass, because probably cigarette butts and everything. Like not that it was like sharp glass or anything, but probably like there's always broken bottles and stuff. And that's so like I have no idea like how messed up I was. Like obviously I don't have any pictures or anything of it, But I can remember for like weeks afterwards, like just everything hurting in that. And like I had arthritis as a kid. I have rheumatoid arthritis. Um, my doctor as a kid just told me I was being dramatic and there were growing pains. One of my best friends from Indonesia, she's a doctor, and I explained my symptoms, and she's like, "Yeah, that's rheumatoid arthritis." Like, yeah, not that hard. So, like, I was used to being in pain as a kid and everything. Like, especially really, really young, like junior or not junior high, grade primary one and that, and like before, I can remember like just being in so much pain, I would cry myself to sleep because it just hurt that much. And like I still have it. Like I've recorded 2 or 3 of these videos right now, and it's been raining all day, and I can feel it, and I'm going to need to sit down in a minute because I insist on doing these standing so I can project better. If you can hear me shifting my weight or my voice waning and everything, that's what it is. But yeah, like it legitimately scares me that I have that much of my memory missing. And like the only other time I can recall possibly getting a concussion, um, oh no, okay. There's another time. God, that's coming back now. Um, was when Anthony curve stomped me into the ground when we're playing Spotlight. I tripped over him. I was running around the corner of a house and he was crawling along the ground. I tripped over him and he reared up, threw me to the ground, and jumped on me a few times. And Anthony was like probably, 6'2" at the time, probably like 220, 230. So yeah, like I think how I separated my sternum. But I remember that, like I remember being messed up about that and having a headache for days and stuff. But I can remember walking home from that. The other time that just popped in my head was driving around with Jolly. It's actually this episode I did about Lawrence, the night that he wanted to fight Katie's boyfriend. When we were driving back to Jolly's, we were being dicks. We had kicked Brent out of the car because he was trying to take a dick picture in the back seat and descend to the other car for whatever reason. He thought that was okay. So we were just being dicks and driving around, and we were kind of racing back to Jolly's. So for whatever reason, I decided to climb into the back seat and moon the car behind us. And we're going down this road that's not really built up, so the speed limit's not urban or whatever. And a car pulls out ahead of us, and Jolly has to slam on the brakes, and I go from the back seat into the dash. And probably got a concussion from that. But I mean, I remember it. I kind of forgot that there was a head injury involved in that story because of everything else. And it wasn't even like that bad. Like it wasn't that he had to slam on the brakes and we're going top speed. He saw the car pulling out and slowed down, but I guess the car halted for us or something, and it was just when he had to hit the brake or whatever, I just lost balance and lurched forward. It wasn't like we were going 120 miles or 120 kilometers and I, risk breaking my neck. It was just, yeah. I mean, I've had so many pointless, stupid injuries as a kid, and well, still racking them up. But yeah, I've apologize if the audio or anything is off or if I'm kind of rambling. I've recorded this twice. My microphone's being really weird and it's picking up stuff outside. And it's not a sensitive mic. It's a Shure SM57 instrument mic. Well, thank you for joining me. If you like this episode, please leave a like, review, comment on whatever platform you're listening to. One of the best ways you can help us right now is if you can tell a friend. Really appreciate that. And thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next episode.